If your eyes focus on something far away, they focus on infinity. That means the rays of light are parallel and the lenses of your eyes are relaxed. If an object like this little fly moves closer to your eyes and you want to keep it in focus, your lens bends and breaks the light differently. To keep the fly in focus, all the light from a single point on the insect needs to be focused on a single point in the back of your eyes. If the fly comes too close, the lens cannot bend enough and you lose focus. This is why VR headsets need special lenses. So the angle of the light from the lenses is corrected so that it can be used by your eyes again. Because the light rays hit your lens at a different angle, you perceive the image as farther away than it really is. To make the headset lenses thinner and lighter, some VR headsets use Fresnel lenses, which are lenses with the same curvature as regular lenses, but they're segmented. But using Fresnel lenses means that you have to make compromises. You can create lenses with many segments, which results in a sharper image. However, you lose light that gets scattered at the peaks that do not have the right curvature. As an alternative, you can create Fresnel lenses that have fewer segments, which results in less scattered light and more contrast, but will also give you images that aren't as sharp.
Virtual reality is not hardware, software, head-mounted displays, goggles, viewing devices, glasses, or any peripheral or computer or computing device. This is like film is not the camera, it's not the theater, it's not the television, it's not the editing software. Film or cinema is content. I'm sure you've heard about the head-mounted displays or HMDs. Virtual reality is not defined by the use of HMDs, but virtual reality is arguably a better experience using a head-mounted display. So let's talk about head-mounted displays. Currently, the main HMDs that are on the market are from major consumer electronic companies. These include Sony Morpheus or Sony VR, HTC Vive, Oculus Rift with versions, Samsung Gear VR, and Google Cardboard. There are three main differentials with head-mounted displays. The screens, either the screens are built in or you use a smartphone tray, tracking points and tracking sensors, how many are there, and how you use them, and whether the head-mounted display is wired or wireless. HMDs that have their own screens use stereoscopic content, which is not viewable without the HMD itself. HMDs that have their own OLED screens for beautiful content display are the premier VR experience. We're state-of-the-art. Sony VR, HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, they all use OLED screens. HMDs like Samsung Gear VR and Google Cardboard use smartphone trays, and the content is also stereoscopic, but you put your smartphone in a tray and view the stereoscopic content through the viewer. Google Cardboard is a technology, not a head-mounted display. Hence, you can buy a wide variety of inexpensive cardboard HMDs, and it's nicknamed VR for the masses. This is creating terrific branding opportunities. McDonald's in Sweden created a Happy Meal box which folds up into an HMD. Coca-Cola has a video out showing how their soda bottle packaging can be folded up into an HMD. And the New York Times hired the content company Verse to create a provocative series of virtual reality content and then sent out a branded Google Cardboard viewer to its 13 million newspaper subscribers.
I'm Oliver Carlos. I'm a researcher at the University of California, Davis. I am specifically in the CACAVES project, which is an interdisciplinary research project between computer scientists like myself and earth scientists on the other side, with the overarching goal to develop virtual reality as a tool to enable scientific research. At the time when VR really got noticed by the mainstream for the first time in the late 80s, early 90s, head-mounted displays were the display modality of choice. The problem was that head-mounted displays have two inherent issues that make them very difficult to deal with. One of them is latency. They require a very low response time between you moving and the system reacting to it. The second part is they also are very sensitive to calibration. You need to input the positions of your eyes relative to the very small screens very precisely in order to get a convincing image. And so those were both things that couldn't really be done with the technology at the time, which is one of the reasons why VR ultimately failed. People came up with the idea, well, instead of having two tiny little screens that are mounted right in front of your eyes, why not just use big screens that are far away from you and that are not attached to your face? And hence the cave was born, which is essentially a combination of three very big screens and a big floor, which are projected by big projectors. And then the user does not wear a display on their face, but they just wear stereo glasses, the same ones you would wear in a 3D movie theater. That was really the first time that a VR environment was working to the point where you could really do things in it. So the cave, by design, is a one-person environment. Due to the way it works, it can only create a very convincing view of your virtual objects for the person who is wearing the head-track glasses. Everybody else in the cave gets a secondary, somewhat distorted view. But in practice, we found that our scientists are using the cave in smaller groups. And that is when sort of the light bulb went off, when we realized that science is collaborative, not just because people work together on writing papers, but really they develop the knowledge, or they extract the knowledge from their data in a collaborative fashion. Very naturally from that observation came then the question, how can we support collaborative work that is not done in the same environment but across different environments? We are trying to replicate precisely the way how people work together when they are in the same physical space, but then we are trying to allow them to do it separately. Each one of these is a capture space, so to speak. Here in this space, I'm capturing the user using 1, 2, 3 first-generation Kinect cameras, so that we get a full-body, low-resolution 3D scan of the person. And then the same thing is true for the 3D TV, only that we have only 2 Kinects, one to the left, one to the right, because the TV is supposed to be used sitting down in front of it like this, and so now I'm captured from here and from there. Anybody who is using this environment, who is sitting here or standing here with the Rift, gets transported virtually into that shared space, and the same for whoever sits in front of that. It doesn't really make a difference if this is here or in another room on campus or somewhere across town, or we've even tried it between here and Germany, where latency was, let's say, just a problem, but it still worked. So this is a long-distance communication system. What looks like very disparate elements is, if you look at it from an underlying level and especially from a technical level, is actually really one thing. On the one hand, we have all these different things in hardware that make VR happen. There is the Cave and the 3D TV and the Oculus Rift and the Project Morpheus and whatever you have. And then you have all these input devices, from the game controller to keyboard and mouse to the kind of tracked wand that we have in the Cave, and stems and razor hydras and motion capture suits and all that. So these very disparate elements, those are the things that any good VR software has to unify. What I am personally working on is to write that infrastructure, that middleware that allows us to write software completely independently of any of those issues. And while that is work in progress, and I've been working on it for, I don't know, 16 years now, it works really well. What I'm trying to work towards is essentially treating VR, or treating the VR environment like you would treat a normal computer, meaning that there is some VR operating system that is running on the bottom of it, but which really supports exchanging data between applications, accessing your files in some form. So in other words, some kind of 3D VR version of the kind of things you would do in a normal operating system. The main skepticism is that virtual reality or 3D doesn't really add anything to the functionality of a system. That anything we can do in VR, you can also do using a normal computer, but of course at much lower cost. And that, we found out, is simply not true. By shifting fieldwork out of the field where you are not connected to the internet, where you don't have power, where each day in the field costs a lot of money, we can now do those things in our offices in comfort, and over a much longer period of time, we can just attempt to get data that we didn't even consider doing before. For example, we can send a team of students to scan an area after an earthquake at a very, very high resolution using LiDAR, and then spend months in the cave cleaning up our data to get not dozens but hundreds of measurements, which not only give us a much more detailed view of what is happening along this fault during the earthquake, but it also gives us information we simply didn't have before.
Brush is a virtual reality application. You can paint in front of you, on the side, behind you, and create amazing artwork in 3D.
What I really like to do is take a subject and kind of tear it apart and break it up into kind of a collage of different styles and textures. To all of a sudden be able to take a brush stroke and whip it over your head and then whip another one around it. It's amazing.
The piece I'm creating today is allegorical. What really struck me was the ability that this has to be a platform for installation in museum and gallery spaces.
I've got a series of calligraphic, more abstract line works, like a 2D image. You take it into virtual reality and you're basically sculpting your drawing.
Parte de mi trabajo tiene que ver con la caligrafía. Básicamente tenía una idea que quería hacer, pero ya cuando entras al espacio virtual, en ese momento empieza a cambiar todo.
It's a new platform, it's a first. There's so many things you can do with it. Definitely going to revolutionise how people view immersive artworks.
You know, it's the kind of thing a lot of artists daydream about, but it's never something you would imagine to be real.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to D-News Today. I am Trace, and I'm here with the creators of the Tesla suit. Dimitri, and Serge is in the computer. Hey guys.
Hi. Hello.
So this is the Tesla suit. What is it exactly?
This is a VR haptic suit that transmits tactile sensations from virtual reality and games to your body.
Okay, so if I were wearing this, I could feel what was going on in a game, like if somebody punched me, I'd feel it?
Exactly.
Oh man, that sounds awesome. Can I try it? I want to try it.
Let's do it.
So how does this suit work? It's haptic technology, but what does that mean?
Yeah, so we use neuromuscular stimulation,
Okay.
which it means, for example, when I'm lifting my arm, it means that our brain sending electric pulses to our muscles.
Yeah.
So basically with Tesla suit, we're using the native body language technology.
Okay, so it kind of speaks to our body in a language our body understands.
Yeah.
So it makes our muscles kind of contract like they normally would. It pushes the sensors in our fingers the way they would normally be stimulated. So what's in here that's going to make me feel sensations then?
There's a matrix of electrodes. It's a textile, so there's no wires, no cables. So by sending different types of electric pulses with different power and different frequency, we could simulate different types of touch, from something crawling on you to, at some points, even wind. Hot and cold is common to DK1 version, and even force. So,
wow.
So you could feel the weight of the virtual glass.
So in this version, I'm going to feel my muscles contract and things like that, but in future versions, what are you going to incorporate?
Heat sensors.
And then biosensors as well, like heart rate monitors?
Yeah. So I'm going to pull electrodes, and you'll tell me if you feel it.
Ooh, over here.
You feel it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of the tickle. It feels like a little electrical tickle under here.
This one?
Oh, it's so good. This one seems to be super sensitive.
Yeah. That's okay.
That one's great.
So now we're going to check the frequency.
That was crazy. It went from being like somebody's hands like this to kind of spread out but vibrating. So it kind of spread everywhere.
When you see the TV,
Yeah.
so there's 24 frames, yeah. So when
Right.
they're moving fast, so once you take a one frame, it's a one photograph, yeah.
Yeah.
So but once you put them in sequence, it make an
moves.
action, yeah.
Right.
So this is the same as we did here. So we could actually create your own patterns. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Whoa, ah. That was crazy. Where did you,
I just touch it here on the back.
It's like-
it's strong. Is it strong?
It's strong, but it
Yeah.
you definitely noticed, you know?
Let's
You
make it
didn't miss
less. Is it less? Is it less? So just let's.
No,
play.
it's good. I think it's more just unexpected, like surprising. Now it's kind of like, what's happening?
Mild, yeah. So.
Yeah. The high frequency one, because it feels like a vibration, it seems like it tricks my skin into thinking that it's a solid thing that's just poking me. Whereas when the frequency is lower and it's a more of like a tickly sensation, then it feels more like something's crawling on you. I imagine communication software is
And
pretty big.
that's the main, this is where we move into the next part. So this is the way how we could transmit tactile sensations over the distance. When humankind invented telegraph,
Yeah.
so it allowed to transmit data over the distance. Then there was radio that allowed to transmit voice over the distance with telephone.
Yeah.
And when there was a TV, television, it allowed to transmit image over distance. And now with Tesla suit, we could transmit the tactile sensations over distance.
Okay.
So it's a next step in a whole
Like
technology
human
development.
connection. So what we're about to do now is use the Tesla suit to make a phone call across the planet, and I'm going to hug someone.
Victoria, she's in London, we are in
Okay.
San Francisco. This is the first in history, making history right now.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Okay.
Here we go.
That's so cool. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
History is made.
So what we're about to do now is I'm going to use the Tesla suit in combination with VR and a video game so that I can play paintball. And every time a paintball hits me, I'm going to feel it.
Yeah, and if you look around, that's sort of right.
Uh-huh. It's weird when I get shot, I can feel it. Oh, crap. Oh, there's a dude like right next to me. I didn't even see him, but I'm like focused on this other guy. I'm not good at video games, you guys. So the Tesla suit has some obvious applications for the future. It's kind of using my own body's physiology. I mean, I can see so many different ways that this can go.
How does it feel to be in the virtual reality world?
It's, am I still in the same room?
I feel a little off balance.
Wow, that looks like the universe.
Even this thing's 3D. These are 3D.
You go all the way around on this puppy? You can. Oh my goodness.
That is absolutely staggering.
So the first game you're going to be playing is called Tilt Brush, which lets you paint in a 3D space.
Oh, wow.
I love to paint. I'm not a painter, but we'll give it a shot.
Using the controller in your right hand, you can control the paintbrush and draw whatever you want.
Hold it up like that.
Oh. Right now I am doing a head. I'm drawing a heart with an arrow in it.
I used to be a school psychologist. If I had to grade this, IQ 0.
I'm doing my name. Oh.
This is so cool. I love it.
It's like I could touch it. It's not flat, it's three-dimensional.
Something really cool is once you're done painting, you can fully walk around it and see it from all different angles.
You're kidding.
Awesome.
This is a lot of fun. Not just for kids, it's for anyone.
I'm inside the painting. I'm on the other side of the painting.
I absolutely know I'm going to dream about this tonight.
Okay, time to move on to the next game.
Okay. This has to be the gift of the year.
Welcome to Robot Repair.
A whole new world here.
Unbelievable. Security camera, hi.
So go over to that garage and pull on the red lever.
To the doors?
But there is no lever. I can't pull, there's nothing there.
There it goes.
Ah, there's a weird robot.
How do you stop him?
Doesn't look friendly. I might have to zap him.
Get out of my way.
Oh, he's disabled. Is he disabled?
This is going so high tech. Boy, can you think of the brains that went into putting this together?
My brain is saying, if you reach out with your hand and touch this, you will touch like a cold white metal.
It's unbelievable.
If you grab the yellow circle, you can spin it.
Okay.
How do I do? Just do this?
I see a bunch of little gadgets. Ooh, what did I do?
Oh my God, everything fell apart. I ruined everything. The floor is falling.
Oh! Whoa! Look at the distance down there.
That's very deep. Can I fall in there? No. It's not real.
Uh-oh. Oh, I'm so sorry.
What kind of robot can't handle the simplest?
Okay, now what this guy is pointing at me.
Oh, here's another one.
It's you.
It's me.
Oh my
It's you.
God!
What do you want up there?
Congratulations on your quota-filling promotion, by the way. You've opened all our eyes to what humans can achieve when you put your tiny little...
Well, it's my only first time here.
My hands are absolutely sweating. Oh my God.
You can turn around, the game is done.
Ah.
What did you think?
I don't even know what to say because this is just so cool.
Really fun. It's very expansive to a very limited mind.
I really had a fear that they were going to take the floor from underneath me. I almost fell into the thinking it was reality.
For your final experience, you'll be playing the shooter game The Brookhaven Experiment, where your controller is a gun and you'll need to fight off zombies.
Zombies?
Right up my alley.
Cool, I like this. This is like a Saturday night special.
Come on, come to the Rocky. I got something for you.
Oh, this is like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Where are the zombies?
Look at that. Oh God, it's like what is it called, a sarcophagus? Ah, here comes something. Ah.
Oh dear God, they're coming everywhere.
Oh, you, in your head. Ah, bite that.
Screw off.
Oi. Oi.
I'm doing great.
Oh, there's a lot of them. I died.
How's that? Ah, blew your stinking head off. Ah, in yours. Ah. Take that. I'll shove this down your throat. I think I'm out of ammo.
Oh. Oh, wait a minute. You're not done? This is very intense. I don't even know what direction I'm in.
Okay, let's take it off.
Wow!
As a senior, our balance does change. I felt a little unsteady.
The first video game I remember is Pong, and you were very much separate from the game, and this is you
There's no separation.
So what are your final thoughts after experiencing the HTC Vive?
I thought it was really cool.
It literally took my breath away.
It's like you're there, you're there. My stomach is a little unsettled from it.
My heart is just started pounding right now. I'm breathing hard.
It simulates reality to where it fools your senses.
I grew up in South America. I didn't see TV till I was 18. So even that was exciting. And this, TV was a flat thing in front of you in gray and white, right? And now you have this amazing world that you walk into.
To watch technology grow from the 70s on, and things get smaller and things get clearer, it's like a fantasy come true.